Hi, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to the 1st of October, which is day one of 30 days of sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, round 13. And today's sketch is by Rachel Gilliland. I shall add the sketch in the top left-hand corner there for you. And it's using some hexagons. So I grabbed my hexagon dies, for my big shot, and I've run the photo that I'm scrapping. It was a 4x6 photo, and I ran that through the largest hexagon, and then I chose the next size down for the blue paper and the next size down for the purpley pink paper. This is Autumn Harvest from Simple Stories. I think that was what it was called. Or was it Harvest Market? Harvest Market, sorry, from Simple Stories from last year that I'm using up. And it's a picture of Amelia with her two best friends at the pumpkin patch in Lymm last year. Lucy's mum had taken them there during half term. So I backed the photo that I die cut with some yellow paper from the collection, and then I cut the other two out from two of the other neutrals from the collection. And although the sketch shows the three hexagons on top of each, going straight down the middle of the page, I decided that I wanted to lay them up this way. And once they're layered up, I'm then going to use that Tim Holtz stencil to create the hexagons in the background. So first of all, I'm grabbing my fossilized amber and my blending brush, and I'm just going to run that through the stencil right the way across the page. I'm doing a larger section on the left hand side and then fading into a smaller section on the right hand side, and just moving that stencil. I love this stencil because you can reposition it. It's easy to reposition and match up those hexagons to make the area much bigger. So you can see I'm blending with different pressures and different amounts of ink on my brush to get those different tones that you get from these lovely Distress Oxides. This, like I say, this is fossilized amber, and then once I've finished with fossilized amber, I'm going to come in with Spice Marmalade. I don't mess about changing brushes. I don't mind if there's a little bit of cross-contamination in my inks. I don't think you really get that much anyway. So I just have one brush for my yellows and oranges, and I'll use that for both. So blending still with this fossilized amber. As you see, I blend the majority of the ink from the brush anyway, and then I'm going to go in with my Spice Marmalade. This colour is new to me for this video, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I've got dried marigold, which is the brightest orange that I had, which isn't that bright. It's a gorgeous colour, but it's much paler. It's more of a peach, so I decided to treat myself to Spice Marmalade. These inks are a bit of an addiction, aren't they? Well, you get one colour and think, oh, I just need that one because it's a slightly different tone, so I'm trying not to get too caught into that trap. I've also already got a huge number of them, so trying not to go too crazy on this. So as I say, just blending. This is where the hexagons are showing in that sketch in the background. I decided to use a stencil for that. So I've gone slightly off-piste on this, but the sketch was my starting point, and sometimes you have to use sketches to make the layout your own. If it's not something that you would normally see in your album, sometimes it's better to change it to suit your style, and I'm sure that the sketch designer would agree with that. I hope she would anyway. So I've just grabbed some old alphabet stickers. These are from Studio Calico, and I'm just going to spell the word pumpkin with these. There aren't that many of each letter on the sheet, although it's a huge sheet. There were only 2 P's, so I couldn't put patch as well with this alphabet, so I've chosen a different one to put patch. And this is another very old one. This is from Scenic Route. I love these alphabets, and look at how many you got. So just spelling the word patch with that, and then I am going to put Lymm with the letters from the sticker book shortly. So just going back to that 12x12 sticker sheet to see what else I can pull from there. I've already pulled that lovely crate of pumpkins and gourds, and now I'm pulling some of the word phrases. So we've got autumn, cozy sweaters, and pumpkin patch. And they're just going to go down that right hand side, and then I find this lovely pumpkin. So I'm just going to tuck that underneath that top word phrase. It says autumn. And then I'm going into the sticker book to see what I can find in here. So this is where I see these letters, so I decide to use the capitals to spell. No, I don't use the capitals, sorry. The lowercase m's. I think I do grab the capital Y actually. I don't know why I did that. And then the capital L to spell Lymm, which is where they were. It's just up the road from us. and then some of these circular elements to layer up with that pumpkin on the right hand side. So a little green circle that's got a pumpkin in it, and then one that says "It's fall, y'all." Even though we don't call it fall in this country, it's cute. It's a cute saying, and they're teenagers, so I think that works. This acorn is lovely. It says "together," so I decided to add that there as well. And then a little maple leaf, and then an oak leaf on the other side. I'm sorry if the lighting's a bit dodgy in this video today. We have some building works going on, and the electricians are in sorting out the change of supply, and they had to switch it off, so I haven't got my overhead light on. I'm just dealing with natural lighting. Thankfully it's quite bright, although you can probably hear now it's raining. So hopefully the lighting isn't too distracting. These are the brads, enamel brads from the collection, and I'm just adding a little one that has a pumpkin on the left hand side there, and then one of the gorgeous tealy blue ones. And then I wanted to add a tangle of black thread. First of all, I was going to put it underneath the brad, but I decided on balance that it looked better underneath the pumpkin, the chipboard pumpkin that came from that same pack, the adhesive brads. So just pulling that thread off and just making sure that I'm happy with the positioning of it underneath that pumpkin before I add some glue to stick it down. So now I'm going to come in with my journaling, and it was just a very little bit of journaling. I just put, "Claire took you, Lewis and Lucy to the pumpkin patch in Lim at half term. You had such fun." And then adding the date underneath using that same Spice Marmalade ink. So I decided that I wanted to back this layout onto some pattern paper. So I'm just trimming off, I think it was 1/4 of an inch from each side. I did 1/2 inch from the right hand side because there was no space on the left to take anything off because of that title. And then I've pulled out this wood grain paper that I think will work really nicely. The colour matches that pumpkin word that I've spelt out with those Studio Calico stickers really nicely. So I'm going to gut the inside of that because I don't want to waste that. It's a beautiful leaf on the reverse with blues. So I'm just distressing the edges of the white cardstock using my edge distresser, and I want to tear some of the sections to reveal a bit more of that wood grain and just give a rustic feel because they're at the pumpkin patch, so why not? So here I am just gutting that paper, and I've left this in to show you because I've learnt this on a video as well, so I thought it might be useful if you haven't seen it before. These trimmers have their inch marks down the actual trimmer blade bit, so I just run the blade from 1.5 inches to 10.5 inches, and that leaves me a 1.5 inch perimeter around to stick behind the paper, and then I've got that lovely 10.5 inch piece left. No, 8 inch, isn't it? 9 inch. Oh my goodness, my maths. But I've got a decent chunk of the paper left to use anyway. You wouldn't believe I was married to a maths teacher, would you? So just drawing some black lines around the edge just to provide a bit of definition. I was going to do a couple of lines, and then I remembered I'd seen somebody, I think it was Jessica Michaels, using an LE Studio Stitches stamp to add some crosses to her doodle border, and I thought that would be quite a fun thing to do. So I'm just grabbing out the crosses from my LE Studio stitch stamp and adding those in a couple of places, just bottom right hand corner and top left hand corner. And that's the layout pretty much done. I'm going to add some Nuvo crystal drops in gold, orange and black. And that's it. So that's day 1 done. I've really enjoyed this sketch. It's great to be back to this series again. It is a fun series. Off the back of September, it's something very different and great fun to do. Other than that, I shall see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.